We're going to practice a short series for anxiety, and so this is really important. Yoga helps so much with this nervous energy in general. So before or after this video, I encourage you to do the Nadi Shodhana, the pranayama video that I've sent out. And it doesn't matter if you do it before or after or how many variations of it you do, but that really works to calm your mind and to unify both hemispheres of your brain and to add gentle movement so that the brain is connected to these gentle movements that you're making as opposed to what your thoughts are and everything. So when we are really anxious, typically we breathe only in the upper chest. Typically here we breathe in short and we breathe up and out. And what we want to do is relax the stomach and to invite breath deeper into the belly. And so today, in all of these postures, stay in them as long as you can start to feel the breath normalizing and coming into the belly. When it feels up into the chest, maybe come into an easier variation or use props or stay in it a little bit longer so that you can start to acclimate both aspects of the pose, the physical posture of it and how to breathe deeply. So if you want to, you can pause the video and do Nadi Shodhana, pranayama, the other video, or you can do it afterwards. And we'll start in child's pose. Separating your knees, big toes touching, sink back. Think about what you want to get rid of today, what you want to surrender to, what you want to release. As we breathe in our yoga practice today, think about breathing in 4 or 5 and breathing out 5 or 6. Inhaling and exhale, extending your exhale a little bit longer than your inhale. Inhale 5, exhale 6. Inhale 5, exhale 6. Inhale 5, exhale 6. Take 3 more on your own. Begin to push into your hands, make your way to tabletop. And in addition to this type of breathing that we'll do today, inhale 5, exhale 6, think about any opportunity to close your eyes in the poses, take it. So you can start doing cat and cow pose, but keeping your eyes closed. And noticing this rotation of your spine, of your pelvis, of your head and shoulders. And continuing to breathe out a little bit longer than your inhale. So keep your eyes closed. Observe your physical body from the inside. And be here long enough to connect to this rhythm of breathing. Breathing in 5 and exhale 6. And you can stay with cat and cow, or you can take cow pose and downward facing dog. So you can continue to move with your breath. Inhale 5, exhale 6, but you can inhale 5 into cow pose and tuck your toes. Exhale, come into downward facing dog, breathing out 6. Inhale, drop your knees, lift your chest, and exhale either cat pose or downward facing dog. And continue with whatever feels best, cat and cow pose or cow downward facing dog. Staying here also long enough to connect to this rhythm of breath. Exhaling 6, all the way out in cat pose or downward facing dog, and inhale 5 in your cow pose. Listening for your breath, connecting to your breath with these gentle movements. Take one more round and come to downward facing dog at the end. Walk yourself to the back of your mat and come to a forward fold. So again, if it feels right for you, you can keep your eyes closed this whole practice if the postures make sense. If you don't need to reference me in the poses, you can keep your eyes closed. Taking your forward fold here and taking it soft or active. You can soften into your knees and let your body relax. Letting yourself soften here. Taking any gentle movement, or you can stretch out your shoulders, or if you feel tension in the upper back, interlace your fingers at the nape of your neck and let your elbows hang, creating space and length here. Release your hands. Call yourself to downward facing dog. Inhale 5, exhale 6. Inhale 5. And step your right foot forward. And keep your hands and gaze down, or gaze internal, coming to a lunge with your left knee lifted. Feel your inner thighs gently turning towards each other while your head reaches towards the front of the room, heel back. Normalizing your breath with this rhythm of inhale 5, exhale 6, maybe eyes closed. Step your left foot forward and your right foot back. Come to the same posture. Try to feel light in your fingertips, not leaning too much into them, but feel the legs strong so that you can feel strong here. And step your right foot forward, come back into the forward fold. Inhale 5, exhale 6 or 7. Maybe even increasing the amount that we're exhaling. Hands to your hips. Inhale, come up gently to standing, to Tadasana. Shift your weight into the right foot and bring your left foot into tree pose, either into your calf or into the inner thigh. Think about this outer rotation of the left leg, your left toes facing down. Take your hands to either prayer pose at the center of your chest, or you can grab your elbows behind the back. Find your balance here. Find steadiness. Squeeze your foot and your inner thigh. Finding that rhythm of breath, but also finding steadiness with your gaze. So your mind goes where the gaze goes. So find yourself looking at something still and that is calming to you. So maybe even putting something calming in your eyesight, like your dog or some sort of image. Picture Bob Marley. As you exhale, breathe out slowly, release your left foot, release your arms. You can shake out, and we'll switch our sides. Bring your weight into the left foot, and when you feel steady here, bring your right foot anywhere not the knee. It can be below the knee or above. Toes turning down, right knee turning out, and squeezing in. Find your hands at your heart center or behind the back if that felt calming, relieving. Pick a drishti here as well. And find that rhythm of breath. And it might be hard here to close your eyes as we've been doing in a lot of these poses, but you can experiment, see if you can maintain your balance while closing your eyes. Inhale. And as you exhale, release the right foot. Lift your arms over your head, inhaling. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flatten out your back. And exhale, take a vinyasa here. You can go directly to down dog, or you can add this little bit of meditative movement flowing through the vinyasa. Step your right foot forward and come to a high lunge this time. Instead of keeping your hands down, lift them over your head. And drop your left heel down and straighten your right leg, hands to your hips. Come into triangle pose. So start to send your right hip back, left hip over the right, and maybe hand to the thigh or onto a block or the mat. But we don't want to be with the hips out just to get the hand to the mat. What we want to focus on in triangle pose is this duality of the posture, that it requires strength and flexibility. It requires strength of mind and calmness of mind to maintain the posture with the legs, and to also be finding length and freedom in the pose too. Imagine reaching your spine long, reaching your head long. Take 2 more breaths. Maybe lift your arm, but it doesn't matter about this top arm. You can keep your left hand on the hip. Inhale. And exhale, downward facing dog. Hands down. Step your right foot back. Inhale. And exhale, left foot steps forward. High lunge to begin. And slowly drop your right heel to the mat and straighten your left leg. Find this neutral pelvis and then start to tip it forward. So we'll start to lean forward, reaching out the left hip. Left hand can come to the shin or the mat. But again, come back to what this pose takes to find steadiness here. It takes strength of your legs. It takes foundations in the feet. It takes this rotation of your hips and your chest, this length of the spine. Take a few breaths if you can. Close your eyes and return to that inhaling and exhaling longer. 2 more breaths. If you like to, you can lift your top arm. And slowly release. And step your left foot back to downward facing dog. Inhale here, exhale here. Step your right foot forward. Come upright. Keep your hands on your hips and lean forward. And step off your back leg. Finding some present moment awareness in Warrior 3. Squeezing the left leg, left glute, reaching back through your left foot and forward through your head. Hands can be anywhere that feels good on your hips, your heart forward or back. Embrace the wobbles in your right foot, maybe soften into your right knee, and take 2 more breaths here. As you exhale, release your hands. Step your left foot back, right foot back, pedal through the feet. Switch your sides, exhale, left foot steps forward. Come upright, lean forward, hands to the heart. Step off your right foot this time, and you can bend this standing leg to find more stability, squaring your hips towards the mat, picking something to focus your gaze. Something unmoving, something that you can steady your mind with. Gripping the mat with your toes, finding the steadiness in the right leg. Feeling strength and reaching back through the right leg. Take 2 more breaths. And lower down, hands down, left foot steps back, pedal through the feet. Lower your knees down, sit back onto your heels. Spend the next minute here coming into a headstand, so you can use the wall if you want, or you can even come back into downward facing dog for a minute, but we want to kind of reverse the flow of energy. So taking an inversion is really good for anxiety because it changes our perspective, literally, of our gaze if your eyes are open in the inversion, or you can take downward facing dog with the hips over the heart as well. So you can use a wall, you can use your mat. Take the next minute here for an inversion. You can interlace your fingers and bring your head down, and you can stay here with your hips lifted, or you can start to come into the full pose. Coming back to your breath. And if this isn't yet in your practice, we can practice it when I'm in Chicago to make it so that there is some aspect of this in your practice, whether it's on the wall, whether it's with Brian, whether it's in the mat, whether your knees are extended or your knees are in towards your chest. Take the next 3 breaths to come down. And release into child's pose. Slowly come upright, come to seated. Bring your legs out in front of you, come into Dandasana, staff pose with the legs engaged. And we're going to try and engage these internal muscles in the body while maintaining our breath. Inhale 5, exhale 6 or 7. So hands come slightly behind the hips, and you want to be sitting up tall, not with the shoulders up, but with the neck long and feet flexed. And think about your pelvic floor hugging in and your navel towards your spine and your chin even a little bit tucked here. Find how this elongates the spine. And take 3 deep breaths here. Inhale 5, exhale 7. Lift your arms over your head, keeping your spine long, and fold forward. Come into Paschimottanasana. And this can also be done with the head relaxed and the spine rounded. It can be done actively if you wish, or you can take it nice and relaxed with your palms open and your feet unflexed and your back rounded, even your knees and toes gently turned out. Think about internal reflection. Think about the rhythm of breathing, eyes closed. On a breath in, come upright, come into butterfly. Bring your feet to touch and your knees apart, and choose which aspect of this pose feels better for you. You can have your hands behind you and lift your chest, or you can fold forward any amount. So the hands under the feet, the elbows gently pressing into the inner thighs to start to lean forward in the pose. So again, this pose can be done seated upright with the hands behind you, seated upright with your hands under your toes, with neck circles to release tension here, or you can fold forward. Choose whatever feels best for these next 5 breaths. On a breath in, come upright and release. And make your way over to the wall or your couch, preferably the wall. We're going to do legs up the wall. So you can sit up right against the couch or the wall and then lay back and swing your legs so that they're up. So this isn't really as beneficial as doing it on a wall because my knees are bent, so I'm getting less into the hamstrings as I would like. However, it's what I have. And if this is your case too, it's perfectly fine because with the knees bent, the low back can flatten a little bit more. So legs up the wall, hands over your belly to connect to this rhythm of breath as we invite breath in a little bit deeper than our everyday breath. Counting to 5 and exhale, letting it go with control, breathing out to 7. You can stay with your legs up the wall, or if space allows, you can begin to rainbow the legs apart, walking your legs down the wall, coming into reclined Upavisa Konasana, so opening up the adductors, walking your heels down the wall if you wish, hand over your heart and hand over your belly. So you can stay legs up the wall, or you can have your hands over your heart and belly. Inhale 5, exhale 7. can stay here for the rest of your practice, either legs up the wall, legs wide, or feet in butterfly if you wish. Or you can take the best pose for anxiety, which is Shavasana. So pick your final pose, either any of those variations using the wall, or you can start to lay back on your back and really feel wide and surrendered here. Palms resting, shoulders resting, back of your head resting, hips touching the mat, calves resting, heels resting. Legs at the wall or Shavasana. Release any control that you have started to cultivate over the breath and let everything become natural and effortless. Letting go of muscular control of the body, letting go of breath control, letting go of your thoughts. Each thought that comes into the mind, observe it without attachment and let it go out the other ear. Imagine flipping through it like you flip through a magazine. Observing your thoughts, but without attachment, letting them flow through.